when you walk by, I hit you with sexy eyes. You look through me as if I wasn't right. Oh no, you didn't just walk on through. It's time.
Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of Pillars Are Us. Welcome to the Dragon's Lair Workshop. It is Wednesday. This is the first time I picked up the camera this week, basically because I really haven't had too much to shoot. Been busy with a lot of other things other than prop building. So I didn't want to shoot anything until I got to this stage. I've got all 25 pillars with the pattern laid out. You know, one side's going to have with the ovals, the other side's just going to be circles. And I finished up laying out all the pillars as of yesterday, and had enough time last night before I called it quits to actually get one carved. Here, I figured I'd show that to you. Now, what I ended up doing is, like when I do most of my carving, is I use a Dremel. That's how I prefer to carve. With a, I don't know if you can see it really good, kind of a cone-shaped bit on it. And I use that, you know, to go in through, you know, get the angles on the circles and stuff. And then when I cleaned out the center, there was a lot of fuzz left over, you know, little bits that don't get carved off. I was thinking about cleaning out, and I got to thinking, you know, it would look neater if I took my heat gun and just kind of went over it. It would make all that fuzz kind of shrink down. Some of it would just, you know, disappear. Gives it more of a rough look. I want it to look more like grout. So I ended up doing that. I took the heat gun over it and kind of like the look of it. And then I've got, you know, the skirting down here on it, you know, which will, once I get it glued on and attached, it's going to have a little bit of carving on that and some detail too. And I still got a cap and stuff I got to put on up there. But all in all, I think I kind of like it. So right now I'm into the carving phase, and that's what I'm going to be kind of doing this week. So I don't know how much footage I'm going to have for this week or what have you. This might be the only thing I shoot all week. So, but anyway, a little bit of game fun here for you. I went and, like I said, you know, did some circles, you know, oddball circles on here. You know, I had ovals and I've had circles. And the pattern basically is I have two sides with all those circles and two sides with all those circles. And I went and I was kind of curious, you know, how many of just this type of circle did I end up having to trace? Over 25 pillars. So that's going to be kind of a trivia question for you guys. You know, I've given you a look at the pillars so you know what they look like. Let's see how astute some people can get. All in all, over 25 pillars. How many of these little circles did I end up having to draw? Write your answers down below in the comments section. And then the next vlog installment, I'll give the answer, because I went through and figured it out. And it explains why it took me almost a week to get the pattern laid out. Man, there's a lot of circles. But, you know, take a guess. You know, it's like this is kind of like guessing how many jelly beans are in a quart bottle. You know, or, you know, you see people do, you know, pay $1 for a guess and you win a prize. Except for this time, there isn't no prize. You know, I just wanted to try to do something fun. So take a wild guess. How many circles? How many of these circles did I end up having to draw by the time I got all four sides done on all 25 pillars? Write your answer down below, and I will give you your answer next week. Hey there, did you miss me? Yeah. Figured I just got another pillar carved out, and I switched things up a little bit. Did a little bit different of a pattern, I guess you could call it, though it doesn't really look like a different pattern. But I figured I'd show you. This is the one I showed you already. And it has the rough texture effect in between the stones. And I got to thinking, it's not going to be easy to paint all those little ruffles and stuff in there. And it also, using that little bit, takes forever to get in there and get that cleaned out. And I mean, it takes forever, you know, because it's a tapered bit. So I decided to use my regular bit that I normally use. In fact, I think it's still in the machine. That one right there, which has more of a flat tip to it, and that's what I use for most of my carving anyway. I decided to go over the next pillar with that, not set quite as deep as the cone bit was. And you can see where I went around the stones, the cone bit cut in a little bit deeper, which is what I wanted. It leaves the, it gives them the stones more of an outline. And anyway, I went through, plowed through where the grout's going to be with that smooth bit. And then took my heat gun over it and heat treated it a little bit to help get some of the wrinkles out. I think I like this one better. I like this pattern better than I do this one. So I think I'm going to switch over and I'm going to do all my pillars in this section. Which too, in painting, will give me a chance to get a little bit more detailed. You know, the stones are going to be a grayish, probably more of a speckled gray color. The main part of the grout lines, thinking about doing in red. And I know grout ain't normally red, but I'm going to switch it up. And then the where it's indented into the foam around the stone, I might actually trace that out in black. I don't know. You know, it's something that's still kicking around in my head. I haven't gotten to the paint phase yet. I haven't done any experimenting with paint yet. And probably won't for a couple of weeks, because it's going to take a while. Carving the stones out and doing the grout lines is going to take a good week. And then I still got the skirting and to glue on, and my trim pieces to glue on, and the caps to glue on. You know, so I still got a lot of stuff in the construction phase to do yet. But anyway, I just wanted to show you, you know, kind of the difference in between the patterns here from the one I just did to that one. There is a kind of subtly a different look to them. Now with this, since I'm going to be going with this pattern here, this one here, I am not going to strip the foam off and redo it. It's just going to stay the same, and I'll have one, you know, pillar out of 25, you know, that's slightly different. You know, it should blend right in. I don't see where it's going to cause any problems. Greetings, people! It's about time I did another segment. Here it is, Saturday, and I think this is the second segment for this week that I've done. And I am sorry about that. The carving process is extremely time consuming. I've been spending, well actually, we started at the end of the last segment, I was showing you what the finished carved pattern was going to look like. Well, it's been pretty busy this week. I was on Hunter's Talk Mayhem on Wednesday night, and then SOP Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night, and then with errands and family things, I haven't had a whole hell of a lot of time to spend out here in the shop this week. But what I ended up doing is, other than those two pillars being done, I've been working on just carving this pattern into the pillars, and I've got the other 23 pillars all to this state. My next step now is I've got to start carving this in between section, in between the rounded parts out, so it looks like that. And that's what I'm getting ready to do. I gotta get my Dremel set up and bit into it. It's probably gonna take, let's see, it took me most of the week. Let's see, last segment, when did I film the last segment? Wednesday, I think it was? So Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It took me 3 days to get all the pillars to that stage, so I'm expecting about another 3 days of carving to get all the pillars to look like this. So this is probably going to be I'm not going to sit here and turn on the camera and say, hey, I got 2 more pillars done, or I got 3 more pillars done. That's a waste of time, a waste of effort. So this is probably going to be the last segment for this week, unless something drastic happens, and I'll be editing up this week's vlog tomorrow night and posting it on Monday. I will be doing another vlog next week, but you probably won't, see any progress until the following Monday. So, but we are making progress out here, that's for sure. So, it's just kind of slow and go. Oh, remember my little trivia question I asked in the last segment? And let me know this week here in your comments, your guesses on how many of these circles I ended up having to draw all together between 25 pillars. So, I'd like to see who's close. No prizes, it's just something for fun, something different. But anyway, stay spooky out there, people. Hey, I found something else I could vlog. More footage, longer vlog. I'm going to catch hell. I've showed you this a couple of times already. This is the finished product, after I'd done all my routing and stuff on it, all my carving. I just got done getting this one carved, and I wanted to kind of show you the difference of the look on it. It takes about an hour or so to go all the way around all the circles and get all these in-between spots carved out. And then my next step at this point, once I get to this stage on it, to make it look like that, I have to use what they call a heat gun. Real simple, real easy. Okay, now I'm not going to pull a stilt beast and stick my hand in front of the heat gun. Okay, basic reasoning is the hand is holding the camera. I don't want to melt the camera because I do have a tendency of waving my hand in front of the heat gun. But basically with this one, I just real lightly go over the foam. Real quick, real easy. I don't hold it into space all that much. I don't want a lot of melting to occur. Just a tad little bit. And I just go back and forth over it. And I'm not watching the screen, I'm watching the heat gun, so if the camera angle goes wanky, I'm sorry. And I don't know if you can see it on camera as I was melting it, but it now looks pretty much like that. What this ends up doing to the pillars, it shrinks the circles a little bit down here. It shrinks the circles a bit. It also gives them kind of like a hard, kind of a plastic skin. Not really plastic, it's melted foam, but gives it kind of a tougher skin so they don't dent and scratch as easy. And it makes things kind of shrink a little bit too. I like that effect. So after I spend my hour or so carving, I take the heat gun to the pillar, heat it up and melt it, and then this one goes over and it's ready for the next stage. So I've got lots of pillars to do yet, so I'm gonna call this segment the end of the vlog and say stay spooky out there, people.